Oh, be careful! No!
Ferrets make incredible companions. But there is one thing every ferret owner learns far too soon.
How are you feeling?
They just don't live long enough. This is the second chapter of our story.
Is that fun?
A journey packed with laughter, chaos, bonding, and some of the deepest heartbreak I've ever known. If you missed the first chapter of our origin story, it's linked here. But if you're ready for a whirlwind of joy, loss, and healing, settle in. Because with ferrets, standing still isn't an option. This is what happened next. When we first moved to Scotland, everything felt new. The air, the landscape, the overly friendly neighbour. The ferrets had a whole new world to explore, and I was starting to find my footing too. The run I had built for them, and surrounded with colour, was a little slice of ferret heaven, even if the Scottish weather was often about as welcoming as a cold shower. But as our first winter here turned to spring, and then summer, the storm clouds parted to reveal a wide blue sky filled with possibility. I was ready to start pushing forwards into the future. I've never been much of a one for standing still. Regular viewers of the channel will know I like to do DIY upgrades to my ferrets' lives. And while the outside run is covered, when it rains, water runs right across the floor slabs, making the whole area soaking. Ferrets can be very fussy about getting their little peats wet, so they haven't been spending much time outside. Plus, I've really been missing my playtime with them in the outside run, and I'm also not keen on getting my peats wet. Or more accurately, plonking my butt down on a cold, wet concrete floor. So as soon as the weather promised good for the weekend, I was ready to get busy with some questionable carpentry.
It's not horrible.
I had two big tasks on my hit list for the weekend. A wire inner door for the shed so I don't need a gas mask when I'm in there cleaning them out, and some much needed enrichment to make the outside run more adventurous. For entirely selfish reasons, I started with the wire door. When the sun is out, this shed turns into a sauna faster than you can say suffocating in poop fumes.
Zoro, why are you asleep in the poo tray?
Since there was no room for a proper swinging door, I whipped out my trusty jigsaw and heroic staple gun and threw together a freestanding inner door.
And all I need to do is lift it aside like that for access.
Nailed it! Well, technically I screwed it,
What do you think, boys?
but there is only one way to see if my half-hearted attempt at engineering holds up under the assault of Ferret.
Okay, I'm sorry. Keeping you all waiting, aren't I? Hello.
It was the boys' turn first, and they were characteristically unbothered by my hard work.
Do you think so?
You look very yellow in that light.
Well, the boys haven't really shown an awful lot of interest in the fresh air, but honestly, it's for me, I think, more than the ferrets, because it just gets very stuffy in here.
So after recharging my cuddle meter with Zoro, it was time to let the girls out to investigate the new open doorway. And their reaction was much more rewarding.
So what do you think, ladies? Do you like the fresh ventilated play area? It's nice when the breeze comes through. It's so much nicer in here.
I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the result. It's completely changed the vibe of evening playtime in here, with the sun setting through the door and a cool breeze swirling. It's the perfect environment for leaping around or enjoying a massage in the sunshine. My God, these ferrets are spoilt. They also appreciate the wide view of the patio and the occasional passing cat. And of course, Scruffles has already reminded me who's actually in charge by climbing to the top to see what's there.
Scruffles, what are you doing up there?
Next morning, I was up early to take advantage of a rare Scottish phenomenon, 2 nice days on the trot, and turned a pair of splintery old pallets into lounging platforms fit for ferret royalty. The wonderful thing about AstroTurf is that it's easy to hose clean, and ferrets love it. But it costs more than laying actual lawn and hiring someone to mow it. Luckily, I had some left over from a previous project. Yes, I keep random bits of fake turf lying around, don't judge me. And after giving the runs a good clean, it was time for the fun part, figuring out how to fit everything back in. The great thing about working alone is no arguments about the layout, as long as I don't put my back out moving those pallets. With the finishing touches in place, it was time to see what my bosses think. And predictably, they were delighted. It's actually quite easy to please a ferret. Just move all their stuff to a different place and it's like you splashed out on a whole new luxury condo. And the addition of the pallets was a triumph. They've got the dark, tunnely undersides for hiding and stashing, and the top for lounging and chin rubbing. Plus, it's a lot nicer for me to sit out here with them for my daily serotonin fix.
Give me little beats.
After the makeover, both groups began spending more time outside and coming nose to nose with each other through the wire. Of course, I still dreamt of integrating them into one big happy, or at least tolerant ferret family later in the year, but for now, this seemed like a pretty good environment for them to continue socialising. Our little slice of ferret paradise. Have you ever felt like life is really going well? All the cards are falling in your favour and you're playing them like a pro. Then the table gets flipped and everything goes crashing to the ground. I didn't know it then, but these would be the last calm, perfect days before the storm. Because bright days are always followed by the night, and sometimes those nights can get really, really dark.
So the diagnosis is in, and unfortunately, it's not good news.
10 days ago, Luffy seemed like he might live forever. But as I hold his fragile little body in my hands today, I can feel the moments slipping away. What I thought was a simple case of hairballs trapped in his gut turned out to be much, much worse. This is Luffy's story. Luffy joined us 17 months ago with his partner Zoro. They bonded in a chaotic rescue centre housing almost 200 ferrets. Zoro had been at the very bottom of the pecking order, bullied and beaten with no friends. But then Luffy was brought in as a stray, and the pair instantly connected. When I first met them, they had scabs on their backs and necks from daily battles with the other ferrets. I just knew I couldn't leave them behind. My plan initially was to integrate them with my girls, Wriggles and Scruffles.
I'm kinda happy.
But when my mother was diagnosed with advanced cancer, I lost the stomach for the violent dominance battles that must play out when you blend two groups of ferrets together. So instead, I split the interior into 2 separate cages and gave each pair time together to play in the outside run. This worked well for 8 months, but I'd been looking for a house that gave me more outside space so I could expand the run. So when the perfect place came up on the market on the west coast of Scotland, I jumped at the chance to move us all.
We're off to Scotland.
On this blank canvas, I built a run where both groups could have their own outside space. Luffy had never been happier, thriving in the fresh air and sunshine, with his best buddy always by his side. But 10 days ago, something changed.
How are you feeling?
It presented at first like a possible blockage. Luffy is a heavy shedder, so I thought he might have a hairball trapped inside him, which is not uncommon in ferrets. I went through the steps of the blockage protocol, which if you want to follow the whole journey is linked here. But to recap briefly, after the protocol didn't work, Luffy ended up having to go under general anaesthetic at the vet's to be flushed out. And while he was under, they found something else.
They found him. They found a mass in front of his kidney.
The vet's first thought on discovering the mass was an adrenal problem. Luffy is 3.5 years old, and that is prime age for adrenal cancer to be diagnosed. It's a devastatingly common problem in ferrets, due in part to genetics, but exacerbated by bad diet and hormonal issues after being desexed too young, which sadly happens all the time in commercial ferret breeding. Of course, adrenal cancer is bad.
Hey Lou, how are you feeling?
But it can be managed with a variety of treatments. If caught early enough, he could live another 2 or 3 years relatively normally,
Good boy.
although he will have to get used to visiting the vet. So I had hope. The day after his procedure to clear the blockage, he was still really wobbly, but was eating happily, so I put it down to the effects of the anaesthetic wearing off. But the following day, he seemed even more wobbly. I noticed he was straining to poop with no results again, and his breathing became rapid, like he was panting.
I'm going to give the vet a call.
I called the vet, and she said it sounded like he needed some painkillers.
We've got an appointment at 2:15, and they're going to chase up the results from the test from whatever was on his kidney that they took a sample from. So they're going to chase those up this morning as well. And hopefully that will give us some clarity about what exactly is ailing him right now and what a treatment plan might be, or at least to be able to get him out of the discomfort that he's clearly in. So I'm going to go get myself together, pull myself together, and then we'll head off to the vet, see what we see.
The painkillers completely knocked Luffy out, but he still dragged himself to his food bowl to eat. Even Zoro seemed unenthusiastic about food.
That's not like Zoro. I presume he's just feeling sad. Oh dear, dear, dear.
I set about my normal cleaning routine, trying for some semblance of normal for the other ferrets. But then I saw something I had never seen before, and it filled me with dread. Luffy didn't finish eating his dinner.
Alright, baby.
The painkiller had been an opioid, but a very light dose, so it shouldn't have hit him this hard. He didn't even have the strength to chew the treat I gave him, just lay there panting with it in his mouth. I will never forget the sense of hopelessness I felt in that moment. I had done everything humanly possible, and he was still suffering. I called the vet to report this, and she said that without a diagnosis, we'd done everything we could just now. I was to make him as comfortable as possible, and she would chase the lab again. Early next morning, the phone rang.
So the diagnosis is in, and unfortunately, it's not good news. Luffy has lymphoma, which is a form of cancer. It can happen anywhere in the body, any of the organs, and it seems like it may be in his lymphatic system. And my vet has warned me that there's a very strong possibility that it's progressed to many of his other organs, which is why we're seeing the kind of shutdown that began with the constipation as the first really visible symptom. But lymphoma is very often invisible for a large part of its existence, and it's sadly very common in ferrets. So we've got an appointment at 2:15 this afternoon to have a proper examination, now knowing what the problem is, and see whether or not there are any treatment options that might work for him. So I'm just gonna make him as comfortable as I can this morning, and I'll check in with you later.
It soon became clear that Luffy was getting worse, so I decided to stop filming. I wanted to focus my attention fully on Luffy, and I prefer for us to remember him like this. Luffy's cancer was taking his organs out one by one, and when we returned to the vet, I had to make the difficult decision to help him be at peace. With the help of a light sedative, he fell asleep slowly and peacefully in my arms as I stroked his little snoot. I cradled him until some time after the last breath had left his little body, then wrapped him in a blanket with his favourite treat in his paws and said goodbye. We'll get his ashes back in a few weeks, and I'd love to hear your ideas about how we can memorialise him in a way where he can one day be reunited with Zoro. In the days that followed, I made sure I spent lots of time with Zoro, who was obviously missing his bonded partner. And I knew that integrating him with the girls had to be a priority now, so he didn't get cold and lonely at night. I know this news might make you sad, and I'm sorry for that. It was shocking how quickly he went from fine to critical, and there's no easy way to tell that story. But through my grief, I knew I had to press on. Luffy would want us to look after Zoro now. And he lived like a king while he was with me, a decent chunk of time in Ferret terms. He was playful, brave, would do anything for a treat, and had the heart of a warrior to the very end. Dook in peace, little buddy. You'll always be part of the Floof crew. And this is what happened next.
Are you missing your brother?
Losing Luffy left a hole in all our hearts, especially Zoro. But grief, like ferrets, doesn't stay still for long. So to help us clear our heads and get a fresh perspective on life, I decided to take Zoro on a special trip to a place he'd never seen before. The beach.
Walk with me. Let's leave the past behind. Walk with me. There's something else we need to find. Say you'll go, don't make me wait. There's no need to hesitate. Let's make footprints in sand. Let's make miracles. Come hold my hand. Let's find something new. Me and you.
It's always hard when you lose a pet, but for ferrets it's especially difficult. Did you know that ferrets are genetically wired to bond deeply to one another for life? But being out here with Zoro on the beach fills me with hope for the future. It's hard not to feel positive in a place like this.
Let's make footprints in the sand. Let's make miracles. Come hold my hand. Let's find something new. Me and you.
Life goes on. And Zoro, he needs company, he needs love, he needs affection. So, despite feeling obviously still devastated about the loss of Luffy, I'm going to stop talking about it now because every time I do it just... Okay, it's morning, playtime, so I'm going to go and get them. Wish me luck.
This time I tried something new. Group feeding, playful distractions, and daily sessions in the playroom. Which was a great neutral space, as we hadn't lived here long enough for anyone to claim ownership. At first, Zoro was still aggressive, and the girls remained cautious. You could hear their little hisses every time he got too close.
It's alright, he's snoozing.
But slowly, things started to change.
This is just post-nail clipping belly licks. And I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Just slather them all in salmon oil.
After 2 weeks, Zoro finally calmed down enough to take a nap near the girls.
Are you feeling snoozy?
And that's when the magic happened.
So she really wants to be friends with him. Alright, be nice.
One by one, the girls gained the courage to slide in beside him.
My heart is in my mouth, I can't even tell you.
For the first time, they slept together, peacefully.
Fingers crossed.
Over the next few weeks, we stuck to our little routine. Zoro was still living the solo life, so I made sure to pop in a few times a day for a snuggle session. In the evenings, they'd all mingle, or at least that's what I called it. What it really looked like was the girls perfecting the art of avoiding Zoro,
Zoro, be nice.
or risk being pinned like it was some kind of bizarre game of ferret tag.
Good girls at Wriggles.
Okay.
But hey, practice makes perfect. As the girls got better at dodging him, the pinning and screeching started to die down. Progress, right? Still, I wasn't about to leave them unsupervised in the same cage, so mingling time was capped at about an hour a day. Let's be real though, can we even call it mingling when the girls spent most of the time running wide, paranoid circles around Zoro, as if he were a swordsman with a vendetta and they were trying to dodge his next move? Meanwhile, Zoro just waddled around blissfully unaware, like he was lost in a quest to find the one piece of tasty snack. I had pretty much resigned myself to this new long-term routine. Slow and steady, I thought. But then, out of nowhere, a tiny miracle happened.
Hey, so it's early in the morning and I'm actually keeping my voice down because I don't want to wake the ferrets. Had a bit of a surprise development last night. A few days ago, a viewer suggested that I let the girls stay in Zoro's side for a few days and vice versa, so get them more used to each other's smells. So I did that, and Zoro became very comfortable in the girls' side of the enclosure. Last night, when I went to feed them, I've been having both sides of the enclosure open as I kind of clean them out so they can explore each other's spaces. And last night, Zoro took himself off to bed in the girls' section. And I was actually going out last night with some friends for somebody's birthday. So I was like, okay, let's give it a go. So I put the girls up on that platform as well. And the girls went into the sleep box. And I stood there for the longest time, just kind of nothing. Silence. And so I closed the cage up, I turned the lights off, and then I sat on the floor for almost 40 minutes and nothing. Completely silent. So I went out with my friends. I came back actually early because I was like, we've got to go and check that they're not like tearing each other apart. I think I got back about 9 o'clock. Went and checked on them. Silence. So I was tempted to actually check on them and see whether or not they, you know, the reason the silence is kind of like something sinister. But I'm sure it won't be. Anyway, it's now early in the morning. The sun's literally just risen. And I am going to go and check and see what we find. But this could be it. They could be integrated. Right, wish me luck. There's noise. Hello? Who's that? Hey, Zozo! Hi! Oh, he needs a poop tray on the middle layer. Hello, sweetie. Did you have a nice night with the girls? Hey, how are
are you? Hey, how are you? No poop up there. Wriggles is okay. Oh, Scruffles. Now that's interesting. So Scruffles slept in the middle layer. Hey, look at that. 1, 2, 3.
They were all alive. An undeniable win.
Oh, you were such good ferrets.
I got them out to assess the situation. Sure, there was still tension, and the girls looked like they might have had an awkward night, but they'd all survived unharmed, and that gave me the confidence to let this experiment continue.
Zoro. I've made a few adjustments. So there's an additional sleeping space out here, just in case. I put the litter tray there, heavier water bowl, the dig-proof food bowl, and then I've moved a little stashy place down here. All right. Zoro! I hope he's not just going to charge around like a bull in a china shop now. Oh, girls, I don't like doing it to you. I really don't. It's not really the ideal way to live. But I'm told it will get better. I'm told you'll get used to each other. Zoro! Right, I think me being here is just a distraction at this point. So I'm going to head in. And there'll probably be... Yeah, there we are. So he's going to head off to sleep. Wriggles has gone into the bedroom. Scruffles will probably make her way up top as well. But that's fine if that's what they choose, you know. They might not want to sleep together initially. He does seem to be... I'm glad I put that blanket in there for him now. He's got something to snuggle. Okay, I just have to leave them to it now.
When the morning of day 2 came, I went to check on them.
I've left it till lunchtime to check on them today because I want to try and see if they're still asleep. Hey! So Zoro's down there. How are you doing, honey? It looks like Wriggles is there. Is it just you? Where's your sister?
I checked outside.
It does like to sleep outside, and it was quite mild here last night. Scruffles!
No. And when I returned, to my utter delight, out she came from inside the fleece cube.
God.
She'd been snuggled up right next to Zoro.
Good girl! You were sleeping in there with Zoro? I can't believe I missed that. Why not you, Wriggles? Good boy. She's still a little nervous, but I wish I'd caught you coming out. I went outside to check on you and you came out of the... It was so stinking cute. Are you a little bit in love now? Well done, everybody. Alright, I've got work to do. I'll catch you later. Oh my god! Oh my god!
On the morning of day 3, I went down to check, feeling like we were so close.
It's lunchtime, so they should be asleep. And I'm really hoping to find them all together. Hey everybody! I guess everybody's fast asleep. Nobody. Hi! And Wriggles is in there too! Yay! Did you all sleep together last night? Oh my god, guys!
So there you have it.
I'm so happy.
One happy little Floof family, and a lot of stress gone from my life.
Yay!
In the end, I probably could have achieved this weeks earlier if I just had the confidence to let them sort it out on their own. Confidence doesn't mean ignoring the risks. It means trusting the process and your ability to intervene if needed. Let's face it, ferrets have been sorting this out for centuries. Watching my babies emerge from the sleep box for the first time made every hurdle worth it.
Look how far we've come.
Winter may be cold and unforgiving, but it carries with it the quiet promise of spring. Just as the seasons turn, so too do the chapters of our little floofy household. If you're wondering what comes next, how we transformed our space and our spirits in the wake of everything, watch this video next. Because life does go on, even when we think we might not want it to. And with ferrets in your life, standing still isn't an option. See you next time, Floof Crew.